I'm on Sherwood Heath today, rather noisy, lots of traffic, sirens and pretty much everything else that this area has to throw at you. Don't come here if you want any peace and quiet. This is quite a busy place, well used by dog walkers, so be careful where you tread if you do happen to visit it. But I am here today to examine the stems of gorse, because although I'm looking at the stems, it's a leaf miner that I'm after. It's a leaf miner that I've recorded before here. In fact, about 100 yards from where I am, I produced Nottingshire's first record of Phyllonecta ulysses. There's a name to test you, but it is pronounceable with a little bit of practice and your teeth in. Now you can see the habitat that I'm in. I'm surrounded by gorse here, gorse in various states of condition. There's some nice new growth, but the most productive, if you're looking for Phyllonecta ulysses, is gorse which is rather old and quite straggly, like that bit there, and even better, that bit just in the background there. That's the kind of gorse you need to look at, and you need to look on growth that is about a year old, at least a year old. That's where you will find a quite distinctive mines. It takes a bit of practice to find this species, and it might not be in every patch of gorse, but it's worth the effort if you put that effort in. That one. Now the mine that I found is in this area. You may well even be able to make it out. You're looking for a pale, almost yellowish strip about 2 inches long on the stems, but don't look right at the end of the stems. You need to look further down, almost up to a foot down the stem, depending on the amount of growth that the gorse put on last year. This particular mine here is just here. It's a thin sort of yellowish strip of stem, covers about a quarter of the stem in circumference, and there are areas of reddening and sometimes darkening in the mines. The larva is in, and this time of year will be almost fully grown. It's about 6 millimeters in length and bright yellow, if I remember right, with a dark head. But it is quite easy to find once you've got your eye in and you know exactly what you're looking for. Almost like looking for a needle in a gorse bush. Just a bit easier than that. Well, I found a second and a third actually on an adjacent gorse bush. In fact, this is the gorse bush where I found the first records for Nottinghamshire in 2022. And you can see the mine clearly. It's about 2.5 inches long in this case. The stem is thinner. It's got that darker area. Otherwise the mine is generally yellowish, and you can see how it compares to the untouched or unmined gorse stem either side. It's nice to know this moth is still here and seemingly doing quite well, but it's not on every gorse bush. This is quite an old gorse bush, never been cut by the looks of it, quite open and dead in the middle, quite straggly if you will. Don't look on very young growth, very young healthy growth. This is the kind of growth that you need to be looking on. Now, if you are thinking and considering going out looking for this species, in some counties, especially north of Nottinghamshire, it may well have a county tick, I don't know, but your county recorder will certainly welcome any records, because the leaf mines or stem mines of Phyllonecta ilicicolella are probably quite rarely reported to most county recorders throughout the country. But when you are looking for stems, suitable stems on which to look for the mine or the stem mine of Phyllonecta ilicicolella, you need stems. Here's two extremes. You need stems like this one that are more open. This one's obviously got flower buds on it, but you can easily see the main stem. Stems like this one, which you will often get on many gorse plants or parts of gorse plants, are too heavily spined to, well, for one thing, for the moth to lay on, and two, for you to even look at the actual stem itself. Can't see it. So of the two, you can see the two different types here. The top one here is the stem you want to be looking on, and say not right near the growing tip, usually further down. So that's one little useful tip. Say, this is a great way of passing an hour or so. If you dropped your wife off somewhere shopping and you're looking for something to do, go and have a look for the mine of Phyllonecta ilicicolella. Worthwhile if you find one. This was the first place that I looked in 2022, found it straight away. So there's a really good chance that anywhere in your local county this moth is present. Here's a final closer look at the stem mine of Phyllonecta ilicicolella. Quite a difficult mine to find. You need a bit of patience, but it may well prove to be a lot easier to find when you start and have a look for it. In 2022 I found it within a few minutes of looking for it. But not every bush, every gorse bush will have this. But here on Sherwood Heath, it is fairly common in parts of the heath, but you can see the mine there, generally quite yellowish, 2 to 2.5, 3 inches in length. The mine itself appears quite yellowish, with occasionally darker areas or sections in, and also those reddish areas too. Something for these last few weeks of winter on which you can go and have a look.